So from here, we're going to come into what we call a yogi squat. And here you might want to have your block, if you have a couple blocks available, or you're using a cushion instead. This is just an option. You may or may not need it, but we're going to bring that, let's actually bring it right in front of us. That way you can reach down and place it underneath the pelvis if you'd like to use it. So coming back onto our mat, taking the feet wider than hip width apart. So when we're in Tadasana, typically the heels are right underneath the hip points. We're going to take the feet wide. And we're going to dial the toes outward so that they're out at an angle, maybe 45 degrees or so. Legs are straight. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Bringing the hands together down to the heart center. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, start to bend the knees, sending the hips, the pelvis downward. Now you might find a little movement here, just experimenting. This is a pretty big hip opening pose. So seeing if maybe this is where you stay. This is a lot of work in the legs to hold your body up in space like so. If you have the range of movement, maybe you're dropping down a bit deeper. For those of you that are dropping way down, maybe it's time to bring in your block and you can come down onto a seat. So there's lots of different variations for this pose. Just experiment. Maybe this is one that you come back to time and time again. But this is a great pose to introduce our body to this shape. It's kind of that natural position for things in our digestive tract to move downward, to improve elimination. Maybe you're up high or holding on, and you can straighten the legs at any point, take a rest, and then come back down. Maybe you're quite deep in the pose. If you're resting on a block, it might not feel all that difficult. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then if you're really low down to the ground, maybe you plant one hand to the front, one hand to the back, and lower down onto your seat. If you're a little bit higher up, you can come up to stand. And then in our own way, we're all going to come down onto a seat on our mat. So that's a fun one. If you haven't done it often, it might feel really kind of funny or very challenging. But many cultures, especially those that don't really rely on furniture, might be kind of squatting a lot of the time, whether they're cooking, whether they're eating, whether they're using the restroom. And just keep that in mind, kind of a fun little cultural experience. So we're going to come to our seated position. We're going to extend our legs out in front of us. So making sure that the sit bones are grounded. You can even rock to each side, kind of pulling the flesh away from the sit bones. And then find a nice tall spine. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, begin to hinge at the hips, fold forward. We're going to do this 3 times. So inhale, slowly start to walk or slide the hands back towards the hips. We'll reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Slowly walk or slide the hands back towards the hips. Inhale, reach them up. And exhale, fold down. Let's do just one more. Walk or slide the hands back towards the hips. Sweep the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. Let the hands rest to the sides of the legs or maybe on top of the legs. You could drop the head very slightly down towards the knees. If you're holding on to a lot of muscular control to the legs, the lower part of the body, you can let that go. Relaxing here. Finding that deep forward bend. Squeezing the abdomen. We'll start to walk or slide the hands back to the body, sitting up tall. I'm going to bend the knees, grounding the feet. And then you can roll down onto your spine or use your hands to help guide you. Come down to a supine position. The knees bent and the feet grounded. We're going to hug the right knee up into the chest. And you can choose if you'd like to keep the left knee bent and the left foot grounded, or maybe start to extend the left leg long. You're squeezing, hugging the right knee into the chest. If you want to incorporate a little core work here, you could lift the head and the shoulders, bringing your nose up towards your right knee. So that's just an option. Let's take 3 breaths in whatever variation you've chosen. If your head and shoulders are lifted, go ahead and gradually start to bring them back down to the earth. If your left leg is extended, begin to bend your left knee, grounding the left foot down. We'll release the right knee, keeping the knee bent, returning the right foot down to the mat, so that we're kind of in this bridge pose position. Next, we'll take the left knee into the chest. You can use the hands, clasping the hands around the shin. Give it a nice hug in towards the heart. You can stay here, or maybe stretch the right leg long. Your choice if you'd like to keep the head and the shoulders grounded. Maybe if you tried it on the other side, you continue here by lifting the head, nose towards the left knee. 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly release the head and the shoulders back down. We're going to lift the right knee up alongside the left, hugging both knees into the chest. Give a little rock from side to side. We're going to come into a supine twist. This is a great pose for digestion. Really, many of the twists are, but this one especially towards the end of class. So with our spine grounded, our knees up towards our chest, you can release the arms and come to cactus arms with the elbows bent, palms facing up, or reach the arms all the way out alongside the body. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just let the legs lower to the right side. See if you can maintain contact between the left shoulder, actually both shoulders, and the mat. So maybe that means needing to extend the legs down long on the mat, knees not so much up towards the right arm. And by keeping both shoulders grounded, rather than coming over towards a fetal position, we're ensuring that the spine is twisting. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling or over towards the left side, away from the knees. And then let your belly soften. There's no need to hold on to any muscular control within the body. Maybe notice if your breath naturally sends down towards the belly or maybe up towards the chest. Start to bring our gaze back to center if you were looking to the left. Lift the knees back up to the chest. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let the knees lower to the left side. See if you can maintain contact between your shoulder blades, the back body, and the earth. This is a question last week. If in this side, the right hip is lifted, and it is going to be up and away from the earth. The right glutes are in the air. Twisting through the torso. That's really this spot that we are trying to target. Twisting through the spine, bringing out all the digestive organs. Maybe your gaze comes away from the knees to the right. And find a little softness here. Let the body relax into this shape. Take just a few more breaths. We'll start to take our gaze back up to center. Lift the knees once more into the chest. You could give them another hug, another squeeze here. You could rock from side to side. And then when you feel ready, you'll start to extend your legs long. Coming into your final pose, your corpse pose, or Shavasana. Arms can be alongside your body. If you'd like, you could even bring the hands to the belly, just letting the warmth of your hands connect with this place that we've really been kind of targeting throughout the class. Just taking a moment to adjust into whatever position is going to feel comfortable for the remainder of our time together. And then when you are ready, you may begin to close the eyes. Shavasana is one, if not the most important pose in our yoga practice. Just like our body is absorbing these nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in the food that we eat, in Shavasana, our body's really absorbing all of the work, all of the positioning, and what we've asked of it during our physical yoga practice. It may be really challenging to lie still, but it's important for also relieving stress, for releasing some anxiety and worry, and again, tapping into and activating that parasympathetic nervous system so that we are able to rest and digest. We're not always in that fight or flight, high stress response. We'll take a few moments here to briefly, mentally scan throughout our physical body, identifying any places that might still be holding on to tension or stress, and giving yourself the permission to release, relax, and let go. Starting from the bottom to the top, just noticing your heels, your feet, your toes, and your ankles. Letting them rest in whatever position you've chosen. Releasing tension in the lower legs, the knee joints, the upper legs. Envisioning the hips and the pelvis, the back of the pelvis softly pressing down into the earth. Bring your awareness to your belly. This place that now is relaxed. If you feel that underneath your hands, if you've chosen to place them there. Envision the length of your spine, parts of which are connected to the earth, parts of this curvature that might be coming up and away from the ground. Relaxing the back body down. The back of the shoulder blades press down. And releasing tension from the shoulders down the upper arms, past the elbow joints, the lower arms, to the wrists, the hands, and the fingers. Bring your awareness to the back of the skull, just resting against the earth. Finally, bring your awareness to the muscles of the face, letting the eyes rest within the eye sockets, releasing any furrow or tension to the eyebrows, relaxing the muscles of the jaw, maybe letting the teeth part, letting the lips part, relaxing the tongue within the mouth. Take just a minute more here, absorbing the practice, relaxing the body to rest and digest. Allow your breath to deepen. Start to invite some gentle movements back into your physical body. Gently waking and wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. When you are ready, you may roll to one side. Whichever side that you choose, pausing for a moment more in this fetal position. Easing this transition from rest to activity, to whatever it is that you'll encounter on this day. We gradually start to ground the hands, pressing down into the arms, coming back up to find your comfortable seated position, however that looks in your body at this moment. Once you get settled here, again, you may close the eyes, bringing the hands together at the heart. I thank you for joining me in this practice, one that is important for our daily health and well-being, and an important reminder to come into these practices, whether yoga, meditation, or anything that brings you this calm and this peace, so that you may rest and digest. Light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.